Hello and welcome to the recap of day 2 in the Laken Riley case, or the Georgia v. Jose Ibarra that started Friday. Monday, it kind of turned a little bit slow because I still don't feel the prosecutor has changed her lane to figure out this is a bench trial, not a jury trial. But it is the case about the 22-year-old medical student at Augusta University in Georgia who was found red-rummed in a wooded area close by the college. Jose Ibarra is apprehended the day after, and Friday we heard the opening statements that they believe he did it. They found her DNA under his fingernails. Sorry, his DNA under her fingernails and her DNA on a jacket he threw away. The first day's witnesses were mostly related to finding her and then finding his address. That's where we picked up Monday morning. I have to say the DA has been really good at doing it in a timeline. I like the way they have presented their case flow-wise. I would have liked that she cut it a little bit tighter because it is a bench trial. The state should have rested yesterday. There's no doubt about it in my mind that she missed an opportunity to leave out some of the evidence. But some of the evidence that I don't think were necessary yesterday was some phone calls with his ex-wife where we don't get much other than she's saying, I want to know the truth. And he's saying, well, nothing. Doesn't prove anything. It's just in front of a jury, it would work. At a bench trial, it's not necessary, in my opinion. What is necessary was the police officers who apprehended Jose at the house where he was living with a lot of other people. They arrived there on the morning, wakes him up. He's sleeping. When they examine him, they found scratches, different places on his body. First, the first responding, the lead investigator, he's not a Spanish speaker, so they have to call in Rafael Sayen, who then interviews Jose in Spanish. What both of these officers told us was, we noticed multiple fresh scratches to him behind his ear, on his neck, on his forearms. That was something that looked like a nail had been dug into the meat right under the, I don't know what you call this, the fleshy part of your palm. But down here, it looked like someone had pushed a nail into it. No English today. All of that, in my mind, very strong evidence. This really links him. And another thing, his brother was at the same place. Remember, the defense tried, they wanted to kind of shift it and say, well, it could have been the brother. They didn't outright point their fingers at him, but it could have been the brother. The brother, different build, no scratches, but Jose had multiple scratches around on different places on his body, which is what they put in there. We talked about what was on his phone, and that was some of the evidence again that we didn't need. We heard about something about a Grindr profile and searches on Google related to him, and then they put in some Snapchat videos with some lyrics that they claimed showed his state of mind. Those lyrics was about, people didn't believe in me, but I'm coming up again. I think that's such a, it's such a if the jury was there, maybe you could sway them. But if I listen to In the Ghetto by Elvis, what does that say about my mindset compared to if I listen to Kentucky Rain? I found it really weird that they claimed that you could see his state of mind from his Snapchat updates with some video music that didn't really, it wasn't like they said, well, I'm going to go out in the woods and unalive someone today. It had nothing to do with it. It was more like, people don't believe in me, but I'm going to show them wrong. So that was what I felt was wasted yesterday. We ended with the special agent who looked at all the phone and GPS data. Oh, I have to, before we go to the end, we also had a young woman testify about what she experienced that day. Remember, in the opening statement, we saw that video of Jose outside of a dorm room, wriggling the door lock, walking around out there. She testified she was in her bathroom, heard some commotion at the front door, like someone was fiddling around trying to get in, comes out, look through the peephole, doesn't see anyone, but well, she sees someone trying to duck down and hide. Then she goes back to get her phone and sees someone outside of the window. She couldn't point and say, this is Jose Ibarra I saw. She saw something generally that could have been wearing the clothes he was wearing. And another witness who was out running on the trail on the same time, saw a person dressed like him, acting funny. She actually got scared and sped up, but she didn't do anything more than that. She just didn't feel safe with him around. The last witness was an FBI special agent who looked into the technical data, and we had a little thing where I talked about, you wouldn't have been allowed to do what he did in Danish court unless there's some new technology, because he claims that he could pinpoint where people's phones are at certain points. In Denmark, that's been bunked. You can say they are in. Remember, the towers are split into 3 zones, so you can say that the phone is in that zone, but you can't say it's there in that zone. It'll be somewhere in there, but again, it was in those 2 zones that covered that area. So yes, I think it's good, strong evidence he was in the area. I don't think you could follow him around as precisely as this guy claims, but I'm not a expert. I just know how we do it in Danish courts. But he had him constantly in the area at that time where Laken Riley is out running and perishes. We have her Garmin tracker from her watch, where you can see her run on the close to the pathway. The GPS is inaccurate, so actually it shows her running next to the pathway. But what to me was probably the best evidence yesterday, and it came late in the day, so I think it's a good thing that it's a bench trial. The judge will be more focused on that than if it was a jury who had sat there for 6 hours. You saw, kind of like contained within a small box, these GPS readouts bumping all over the place, but contained within a small box. And that's the same location the body is found later. I find that as very, very good evidence that a struggle happened there, and this is the scene of a crime. And with the testimony, he had been at the university 2 hours before. Someone had seen him on the trail about an hour before it happened, and we know his phone was in the vicinity. I can't see him not being found guilty. The defense has tried to poke some holes, done what they can do, but it's just a very, very, very strong case. Compared to what I have covered in the 2 years I've been doing this, I think it's probably the best technical foundation for a case I've seen so far. I don't think it's the best presentation, but that's on the DA. But I think the physical and the technical data is so strong, I can't see him being found not guilty, except for the essay thing. I don't know if they've proven that enough. Maybe they'll get into it today. We are looking at half a day from the prosecutor half a day for the defense. We might even get to closing arguments today if they keep them short. So nothing else to do but stop by at 8:30 Eastern and follow along in this, what has turned out to be a very good case. I was very afraid when we started it because of the political going on around it. But thank you all so much for being so good at watching it and not turning it into other one it is, finding justice for Laken Riley. So I'm very grateful for that. But see you at 2:30. No, that's my time. 8:30 your time, Eastern Standard Time, where we will continue day 3 of the Laken Riley case.